Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here and welcome to episode 9 of my Vancouver Whitecaps series of Football Manager 2016. So this is going to be an end of regular season review as well as a live comm against Real Salt Lake. But yeah, before we get into the fixtures that have occurred, there was a little bit of transfer activity. Just a little bit, nothing too intense. First of all, Pomodu Kar, he's 36 now. The 36-year-old Norwegian, his contract's running out, and one of the Norwegian top teams actually came in to sign him on a Bosman, which is pretty good for them, I suppose. Good experienced, Norwegian player, I suppose. I don't really see why that would be a bad deal for them. As far as us, he's well past his prime. He was a good player to have around. He was okay. He's nothing too special. A little bit too old for my liking, to be honest. And then the next player that will be leaving us is Matthias Laber. Yeah, so he's going to Boca Juniors in the Argentine Premier League, or Premier Division. Yeah, 3.6 million. His contract, he had 1 year left on his contract by the end of this season. So they put this offer in, 2.1 initial, then the 725,000 over 12 months, plus another 750 after 50 league appearances, which you would kind of expect him to make. He's only 24 years old, so I think that's a pretty decent transfer, because he should definitely hit 50 league games probably after 2 seasons. So yeah, good stuff there. We also got a 20% of profit from the next sale if he does decide to join another team, which is possible. He could always join a European team, because they of course do like to sign Argentinian players from teams like Boca. One other thing to mention, for some reason my assistant manager had power to bring young players into the team. That was one of his responsibilities, and that's my bad. Obviously I didn't check that. There's also another thing to mention I've just realised. But yeah, he brought in this guy on a free transfer, Jesse Joronen, a Finnish international goalkeeper. I mean, he's pretty good. He's not too bad. 23 years old, already got 2 caps for Finland. He's actually wanted by someone. Who's he wanted by? Millwall. Interesting. Maybe we could sell him. He's pretty good though. I mean, he's nothing great, but he's also an international player, which kind of sucks, because that obviously will take up a spot unless I decide to get rid of him, which I probably will going into next season. The other things we need to mention, yeah, I don't really know what happened, but something went wrong with my squad registration. Yeah, for some reason, when a couple of players came back from injury, they started to count towards the salary cap when they didn't used to, if that makes sense. I think it has something to do with them being homegrown players and under the age of 20, and I think once they hit that point, they then count. I think it has something to do with that. I didn't really read into it too much, or understand it as well as I probably should have, but that's what I got from it. So yeah, we had to let a few players go. We had to let Mesquita go, frees up an international slot. Teixeira, which I was pretty disappointed about, although he doesn't really fit our new tactics, so it's not too bad, but he's a pretty decent player. Another international. We had to let Darren Mattox go. I mean, he was out on loan for most of this season, and half of last season as well. But once again, I mean, he's a striker. We could have used him, but he's not really too well versed as a deep-lying forward. He is American though. He does have American nationality, so that's a little bit of a bummer. But he was on 3.5k a week in wages, which is massive. And the last one, which is probably the one I was most unfortunate to let go of, was Kieran Parmenter, of course, one of our draftees from our first season's draft. He was quite versatile, could play centre mid or striker with his tactic, and he could probably play pretty well in both of them. Maybe a little bit better as a midfielder, but yeah, disappointing to let him go. Arizona United have already snapped him up on a free transfer, so that sucks. Another thing to mention, we also let Daniel Haber, we sold him to Miami FC, which is a new team. It's not the one that David Beckham's trying to create. These guys just popped up, I think it was this year, 2016, as a I think It's the NASL, the North American Soccer League, which is technically the second division or the under division of the MLS, without promotion or relegation, of course. So yeah, they popped up with a 145k offer, and I just thought, I barely played him at all. I don't even think I played him this season. No, I hadn't played him this season at all. So yeah, we sold him. That was kind of good. Got him off the wage bill as well. We also let Froese go on loan to Jacksonville Armada. This guy, I just don't know about him. I just don't know. He can play pretty much all across the midfield line, which is good to have. But he's 20 years old. He's not amazing. He's got 4 determination. I'm trying to get rid of some of those players with the really low determination, because it's just not the type of team that I like to have. I like to have a determined squad, because if you do go 1-0 down, they will try and get back into it for you. But yeah, we have 1.2 million pounds in the allocation funds, which is quite a lot for an MLS club. And we have just under 1,000 in salary cap available, which is alright. Another thing to mention, Kudo is actually our top goal scorer this season so far. Morales, as you would kind of expect, highest average rating and the most assists as well. So yeah, let's get into the fixtures. Actually, I'll show you the league table first of all. We have actually come second in the Western Conference, which is a massive achievement, I believe. It's been quite a good season. We've won the Canadian Championship, and now we've also qualified for the Western Conference semi-final. And of course, we'll be versing one of these 4 teams that win their wildcard playoffs against each other. So that's cool. That's really good. And we've already sealed that going into today's game. So the most recent fixtures, of course, the last game you guys saw was the Montreal Impact game, the 3-0 victory over them in the second leg of the Canadian Championship, the first piece of silverware for the series. We then followed that up with a nice little 2-0 win over our rivals Seattle Sounders. Waston and Morales on the score sheet for us there. Probably in a game that we didn't really deserve to win, because Seattle dominated us hard, really bad. 24 shots they had. Probably not clinical enough to get a win, but definitely a draw there, so we're quite lucky. We followed that up with a 2-1 victory over Sporting Kansas City. Probably, once again, quite lucky to actually get the win here. It was fairly even, and yeah, as you can see, Octavio Rivero scored a goal in the 91st minute, 1 minute into stoppage time, and of course Kudo getting the goal in the 58th minute to actually equalise for us. We then followed that up with another 2-1 victory, this time at home against the Colorado Rapids. Octavio Rivero opened the scoring for us, and Pedro Morales got us the win there. We then unfortunately lost to the Supporters Shield winners, San Jose. As you can see, we were very, very unlucky to lose this game. Safe to say it was bullshit. So we opened the scoring, we're 1-0 up. Moberg gets a second yellow card. They then score a goal, 19 minutes later, with one of their first shot on target actually. It was their first shot. We then get Carr sent off with a straight red in the 70th minute, and then they score another goal 7 minutes later from their second shot on target. And we still had 50% possession with 9 men on the field. But we were definitely unlucky to lose that game there. 2 shots on target for 2 goals. That's bullshit. However, we heroically bounced back from that with a 6-0 victory over Portland Timbers. 6-0 over our rivals. They did win the Cascadia Cup, unfortunately, because we lost another game to Seattle, which, sucked really badly, but what can you do? So Morales opened the scoring for us. Tebet got a hat-trick, scoring his last goal in the 90th minute. Kudo on the score sheet, as well as Fraser Aird as well. Yeah, really good game. Good to see Tebet get a hat-trick there. It didn't actually look likely that he was going to get it. We then disappointingly lost 1-0 to Los Angeles. Their goalkeeper got man of the match, so you can kind of understand as to why we didn't win. And Nigel de Jong got their goal. A pretty good player in his own right. We then managed to bounce back against Houston, who have sacked Owen Coyle. So, yeah, that's not great for them. But yeah, we beat them 2-0. Kudo and Mane on the score sheet for us there. Good stuff. Following that up, we beat Sporting Kansas City 2-1 once again. Fraser Aird with a brace there, and Ronaldinho Gaucho, who is retiring at the end of the season, on the score sheet there. It's pretty good to see him score against you, although, you know, you never want to concede, but when you see there's Ronaldinho, you kind of accept it. We then had like 20 days between games, between the Sporting Kansas City and the next Seattle game. So I decided to verse two local Vancouver teams. We versed the Vancouver Thunderbirds first, beat them 6-0. They scored an own goal. Amari Estevez with a brace, Octavio Rivera with a brace, and Adekube on the score sheet there. And then we versed Vancouver United, beat them 4-1. Estevez, Rivera, Adekube, and Morello on the score sheet there. Yeah, then we lost 3-2 or 2-3 to the Seattle Sounders, and yeah, as you can see, Nelson Valdez destroyed us on this game, or in this game I should say. Yeah, he scored a hat-trick, got a 9.5 average rating, or not average rating, but rating in this game, and a man-of-the-match performance to go along with it. And he scored from Seattle's 3 shots on target. So all 3 shots on target were his goals. Yeah, typical. Just typical FM right there. Kudo did get a brace for himself, which is pretty good, pretty impressive. Any other day, I think we would have actually won that game. But that's unfortunate, and of course that did actually mean that we missed out on winning the Cascadia Cup. We bounced back, however, beat Los Angeles 4-0. Kikuta Mane with a hat-trick there, and Kudo also on the score sheet once again. Those two have a really good partnership up front. They can cause some damage. Although around this period we did actually have a lot of players out on international duty, and of course we did have a couple of injuries as well to deal with. So we were playing some interesting first 11s with some midfielders at centre back, and yeah, it was a bit messy. We'll say that. The next 2 games were 1-1 draws. The first coming against the Philadelphia Union. Yeah, Umete opened the scoring in the 49th minute, and Restrepo got his first goal of the season and equalised there for Philadelphia. And in the final game I just played off camera was FC Dallas, which was the other 1-1 draw. And as you can see, we were very lucky to get on level terms. Akindele got the goal there for Dallas, and we got a penalty in the 93rd minute, which Pedro Morales slotted away, picking up our man of the match performance as well. So yeah, good stuff there. I'll have a look at the overall supporter shield. We actually finished 4th, which is pretty cool. I'm not too sure what that means. I should probably let's have a little look at the rules here. Okay. Alright. Alright, so there's a few things that depend on who actually makes the North American Champions League. But by looking at this, it kind of does look like we'll pretty much be qualifying anyway. And I think we actually qualified regardless because we won the Canadian Championship. And I say that because if I go back into this and we go over to the North American Champions League, FC Edmonton are actually in it. So that leads me to believe that the winner of the Canadian Championship will actually be in next season's North American Champions League. Although it still doesn't really explain as to why we were in it the first season, unless we had done some good things in real life before the game started. Of course, in the league. I'm not too sure, but Edmonton are in there. Unfortunately, they missed out on goal difference as well. Actually, it wasn't even goal difference, it was probably results between the two teams because it was completely equal between them and Columbus. So yeah, let's get into today's game. Of course. Alright, sorry guys, I just had to cut the recording there very abruptly, but we're back into it. So yeah, I think this will be the lineup we go with today. As you can see, we've got a few injuries. Mane's out, Caducci's out, Smith picked up a long-term injury, and it looks like his Vancouver career will actually be over, which is unfortunate. I mean, he's a really good player, and I really would like to sign him, but I just feel like 166k is a lot of allocation. That's like nearly 20%. It's what, 1/5. So yeah, it's about 20% of our whole budget. So I feel like I can get an American player or a Canadian player on a free transfer, and I don't see the balance in getting this guy. He's not even. He would actually count as an international player, which sucks. I mean, he's almost there for nationality, but yeah, I don't know. There's a few right backs that I'm looking at the moment, and of course we've always got Kaduchi, not Kaduchi. What am I talking about? Umete, who's playing today, of course. We've always got Umete, who can play right back, and of course is very, very good, either at right back or centre back. So yeah. So today's lineup will be Usted in goals, Umete at right back, Parker and Waston as the centre defenders, Atakube at left back. We're going to go with Morales on the left wing, I suppose, left midfield. Bolanos is back, so he'll be on the right side of midfield, and we're going to go with Tibet and Moberg as our two central mids. Rivera and Kudo will start up front, although I'm kind of tempted to give Morello... Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to give Morello a game. He's going to start an MLS game today. Hopefully he can do some damage. He's been playing pretty well. Managed to get a goal in one of those friendlies. And it's looking pretty good. So yeah, we'll submit this team. Bolanos and Morello both lacking in a bit of match fitness there as well. But that's all good. So yeah, we've solidified qualification into the semi-finals of the Western Conference playoffs. So that's a big positive for the series so far. I'm going to tell the boys to get some revenge, because we must have lost the last time we versed RSL. Alright, they've got some dangerous players. Their striker, I think his name's Movavisian. He's very good. I think he's Armenian striker. He's pretty lethal. Yeah. Hopefully we can win today. It'd be nice to end the regular season on a win. Of course, we had those 2 draws in the last 2 games, which hasn't been ideal. But that's okay. As I mentioned, we had quite a lot of players out. It's pretty much half the team. I think we had 2 people on the bench. And I think... Oh, actually, we had three people on the bench. I think 2 of them were goalkeepers, so... Oh, no, we didn't even... No, the 2 weren't even goalkeepers, because both of my backup goalkeepers were on international duty. Because I just remember the other guy was playing for Finland. Or he was in the Finland national team. And, of course, the young Canadian guy was with the under-20s for Canada. So, yeah. It was a very interesting couple of games, and it definitely tested the team, and they performed pretty well considering where some of the players were playing. Of course, I mentioned we had centre midfielders playing at centre defence at some stages of those 2 games, so yeah. It's good to have Bolanos back though, one of our designated players, of course. Actually, I don't think he is one of our designated players, is he? No. I think it's Morales and Rivera. Yeah, it is. I think he's just on a really expensive senior contract. Morales gets his shot saved by their goalkeeper, Morello, who's just starting to get a couple of caps for the Canadian under-20s as well, which is good to see, that they rate him pretty highly. Okay. Not a great first half. So the boys are not really happy with that performance. Should be playing a little bit better. Do we even have a shot on target? I don't even know. Oh yeah, we did. We had 2. They had 1, so I'm surprised they didn't score a goal from it. Sarcasm at its finest. Atakube with a nice cross. Bolanos. Oh, what a save by their goalkeeper. I think they got... Is their goalkeeper Rimandos? He's like the 37-year-old or whatever. He's pretty good. Still quite good on the game, actually. I was looking at signing him in the first season, but I decided not to. Mulholland to Plata for Real Salt Lake. What can he do? Beats his man. Crosses it, but it's cleared away by Parker there. And Bolanos gets onto it. And then he pumps it long, and RSL win it back. Martinez to Beltran to Beckerman. Up to Martinez. Crosses. Beltran. Mulholland. Plata. Oh, what a save. Usted. Adekube away. And there's a good tackle there. Alright, we're going to have to make some substitutions here because our strikers aren't really performing too well. And Bolanos isn't either, to be honest, but he's not really match fit, so you can kind of understand as to why he's not performing. But I think we will actually, we'll see how this highlight goes, and then we might bring Rivero on for Morello. Umete, can he cross it? Lays it back. Gets it back from T, but crosses it in, and that is a brilliant goal. Morello, first goal of the season. I think that's his first goal for the club in a competitive game, so yeah, that's awesome to see. And I was just about to bring him off as well. Awesome. 17-year-old getting his first goal for the club in the last game of the regular season. Alright, so we've got 20 minutes left. Got to try and not concede. Oh, what a save by Usted. Keeps the Armenian out. Plata with a corner. Cleared away by Waston. Morello. Pumps it long. That's a brilliant ball. Finds two guys out in the wing. Adekube crosses it. Cleared away. Alright, we might actually look to bring Kudo off for the last 15 minutes here. Yeah, we'll bring Rivero on, and I think I want to bring Estevez. He's not match fit either, so I think we'll bring him on. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I was thinking about bringing Bolanos off because he's quite fatigued, but then at the same time I kind of want him to play this whole game so he gets that match fitness, because we won't be playing again for a little while. So of course his fatigue will be replenished. Rivero here with a yeah, he's picked up a penalty there. Awesome. So he'll have the chance to slot the ball away and make it 2-0. And yeah, it looks like we'll probably be winning this game if he does score. And he does. Puts it away. And I think that's his 11th goal of the season, so not too bad. A little bit behind Kudo. But he did pick up a couple of injuries throughout the season as well. And for like the first probably about 5 or 6 games I didn't actually play him using this tactic. Like, I played him sparingly because he didn't seem like he fit it. He just really wasn't performing. But there we go, guys. A nice little 2-0 win to end the season off there. Usted coming up big with a nice 8.4 there in goals. A few other players doing quite well. So that puts us in a good position going into the playoffs. And it was Romando. I'll go over the squad. We'll do a little bit of a review before I end the episode. So the best performers this season were Morales on a 7.59, Tibet on a 7.58, so 0.01 behind Morales there, and then we got Bolanos who got a 7.52. Pretty good result from Morales, getting 11 goals there, although he does take quite a few penalties as well. A little bit further down we got Adekube who got a 7.41, which is awesome. Fraser Aird as well, he played pretty well before picking up a couple of injuries, and he got a 7.49. Jordan Smith, who is currently injured, got a 7.48, which is just a little bit lower than him, but a good solid season at right back. You know, that kind of makes me want to sign him. It really does. I will have to have a long, hard think about that. Well, not too long actually, because once a loan finishes, I don't have the option to actually put an offer in. So, yeah. And then we got Kikuta Mane, who played 17 games with 10 sub appearances, only got 7 goals this season, so a little bit lower than last season, but still played pretty well, getting a 7.46 average rating. So just under those guys, we have Kudo, who started 32 games, got 14 goals, which is a pretty decent return, and picked up a 7.37 average rating. We then have the centre back slash right back, Umete, who got the one goal this season and got a 7.33 average rating. Of course, the man that's leaving us, Laba, started 28 games, 3 sub-appearances, only the 2 goals for the midfielder, and a 7.25. Going a little bit further down, we got Waston, who scored 1 goal, which is good to see, and got a 7.24 throughout the season. Look at a little bit lower down here. Usted managed to actually get over a 7 match rating this season, which is good to see. But then you go down, you see Rivero down there. I mean, we're paying this guy 11k or 11.5k a week, and he's not even getting over a 7 match rating or 7 average rating throughout the season. Not too great, to be honest. Bit of a letdown. Going a little bit further down, there's no one else really there. That's pretty much the gist of things. So, yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up our season, to be honest. Or the regular season anyway. Of course, I will actually be bringing you guys the semi-final for the Western Conference. We'll be playing both legs in that episode as well. Hopefully we can do well and actually make the conference final, which would be sick. And who knows what can happen during the playoffs. It can definitely be a positive experience, and who knows, we might actually win the whole MLS this season. That would be awesome. Anyways guys, thank you for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're a new viewer, and I'll see you next time guys. Get hyped for the Western Conference semi-final.